Is Christopher Taylor. So welcome to the stage.
Have you ever been that paralytically drunk that the room's spinning and you just feel horrible, and you wake up the next morning and you think you've got out the wrong side of the bed? Well, why does that happen? Well, you can, if you don't want to get horribly drunk, you can sit on a wheelie chair and spin around really fast. But what's the difference? What's the difference between the wheelie chair and the alcohol? Well, the wheelie chair, you're creating the physical movement, but the alcohol and yourself are quite still. So why does this happen? Let's get some alcohol into our system. It's not real stuff, it's just water, don't worry. And this circulates through our entire body, and one part it reaches our head and reaches our inner ear. And in our inner ear is the vestibular system, and this controls our balance. It's right next to Ian's auditory part, the cochlea. So we'll go on to the balance part and vestibular, and this is a bit like a playground. It has lots of different parts to it. The first of which I'll describe is the sacculum. And this is a bit like the fireman's pole because it detects vertical movement. The next bit is the utricle. And this is a bit like the slide because it detects horizontal movement. Now, I'm only going backwards and forwards because it's quite tricky to go down a slide sideways. The next three parts are the semicircular canals. And these are important because they detect all the different rotational movements. So imagine you're sitting on the end of a seesaw. The first semicircular canal detects the rocking motion, going backwards and forwards. We're going back to our seesaw for the second one, and we're sitting in the middle, and this time it detects the rocking motion side to side. And the last one's the most important and most fun, because this detects the spinning motion, as if we're on a merry-go-round. And the way these semicircular canals work is they have some little hairs in them called cilia. And these are sat in a little jelly-like substance called the cupule. And the jelly-like substance has got water in it, so when the alcohol reaches the inner ear, the alcohol, being a solvent, being a bit lighter, draws the fluid out, draws some of the water out. And this gives the impression that the cilia, which send the signal off to the brain, that you're moving. So when you're all comfy in bed, hanging on for dear life because the room's spinning, the brain thinks, it's all spinning, goodness, what's going on here? So you get off to sleep, and the room's still spinning, and the brain goes, I'll be clever here. I'm going to turn this into the normal signal, so the spinning is considered normal. But the body doesn't know this, and the process called homeostasis goes on. So what happens here is the jelly-like substance gets all its water back, and the signal stops. Which is why when you wake up in the morning, the signal stopped. So the brain goes, I thought that way was normal. So now it's stopped, it must be this way. Which is why when you get up the next morning, the room spins the other direction, and makes you feel like you've got out the wrong side of the bed. Thank you very much.